Ayan, hello po, kamusta? I hope ayos lang kayo kasi ako okay lang naman. Kaya naman for this video, I will be sharing my updated and extended version of my favorite TV shows or series, whatever. I already made a similar video 2 years ago, but of course, time has passed at marami na nagbago. So I am here to share them once again. Last time I think I shared my 6 favorite TV shows. That number has actually doubled. So now I currently have 12 favorite shows. What can I say? I've discovered a lot of good shows for the past 2 years. Um, yeah, anyway, without further ado, here are my current favorite TV shows. So last time, hindi ko sila i-discuss by ranking. Instead, I'm going to go through them in alphabetical order. So the first one on my list is the HBO show called Barry. So it's about Barry na isang hitman na gusto ng magbagong buhay at maging isang actor. So ayun, what I like about Barry is everything about it really. It has comedy, action, drama, kaya naman you will be 100% entertained. The episodes will keep you wanting for more and ang interesting talaga ng editing and sound design choices nila. I think those are the two of the things that make them stand out aside from the fact na they actually introduce a new take sa mga shows or stories about hitman, mga ganon. Next show is Better Call Saul. So it's a prequel and a spin-off to one of the most amazing shows ever made, which is Breaking Bad. So in here, it tells the story naman ni Saul Goodman. So yung origin niya and paano ba siya nag-transform into the character Saul Goodman kasi in the show, we get to know that his name is actually Jimmy. And he has this rich and interesting life before the happenings of the Breaking Bad timeline. And this one is a bit different. It's more on the slower side, slower pacing compared sa mga action. Like, wala siya masyadong ganon. Mas impactful dito yung dialogues and the lack thereof ng dialogue sometimes. Yeah. The characters are great, especially si Kim Wexler, arguably one of the best female written characters in TV shows. I also really want to commend them on their cinematography. I think it's not talked about enough or maybe sa akin lang. But yeah, yung cinematography nila yung madalas kong napapansin. Mapapansin mo talaga na the frame and composition itself pa lang ng mga scenes, it already tells a story kahit na wala pang ginagawa or sinasabi yung mga characters. So next one is BoJack Horseman. So this one, I've already talked about it sa old video ko. It still really is one of my favorites and I'm pretty sure that will never change. When I said na BoJack Horseman will always have a special place in my heart, the show will always have a special place in my heart. That remains true. And ang daming beses na akong na-tempt na i-rewatch to so I could look back and experience it all over again. But I can't bring myself to it. I'm also afraid na I'll never have the same experience as I did the first time watching this. Kaya naman I kind of just want to preserve that feeling, like whatever feelings that I have for this show, I kind of just want to keep that sacred, I guess. Ayun, if you haven't watched this yet, I highly suggest that you do kasi it's just so good. Too good, actually. It's funny that this show has never won an Emmy. Same thing with Better Call Saul, but I don't know, I guess for me, those two shows are beyond any awards. Ayan, since syempre nabanggit ko na yung Better Call Saul, so hindi pwede mawala ang Breaking Bad. Ito yung show na matagal ko nang naririnig from people. I've heard so many good things about it and I know na it's a favorite amongst a lot of people. Pero lagi ko siyang iniiwasan dati kasi whenever I see the poster, I would always think na it's so masculine. But I feel like this is one of the shows that the film bros are into. At that time, hindi pa ako ganun ka-open into watching other types of shows. I usually just watch those shows that I know targeted my demographic. So, yun lang. But then, I decided to give it a try, and girl, I was blown away with this show. Every episode, nakatutok ako like a hawk. Like nothing else in the world matters. That's how magnetic this show is. Pa-intense ang nangyayari each episode, and it always puts you on the edge of your seat. Easily one of the best shows ever. Film bro na akong film bro. I don't give a fuck. Next one is Dark. Ayun, this is also one of the shows na nabanggit ko na from my old video, and my feelings towards it remain the same. Hanggang ngayon, I'm still impressed with this show. I think it's so smart and interesting and super unique. Ayun, next naman is this show called Fleabag. Ito naman ay isa sa mga show na I've been dying to talk about, pero every time I try to talk about it, I am lost for words. So, ayun, hindi ko na naman alam kung ano sasabihin ko about Fleabag. I guess this is where I will end my video. Thank you so much for watching. As a guru, let's start off with I like the writing. It's so clever. Yung pacing, yung characters, yung comedic timing, yung line deliveries, and then yung themes and elements niya. Ang unique ng take nila sa mga characters. Most of them ay walang pangalan. Even the protagonist herself hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin natin alam kung ano yung name niya. We kinda just refer to her as Fleabag. And then there are only a few characters na may name, like Fleabag's sister, si Claire, her best friend Boo, and then the others we kind of just refer to them as the hot priest, dad, grandmother, ano isa, si Buzz Rodent ba yun? Someone pointed out that the reason for that is because we get to know them through the POV of a Fleabag. So if yun lang yung tawag niya sa kanila, then yun lang yung alam natin about sa kanila, so that's it. And then of course I cannot talk about Fleabag without mentioning the groundbreaking use of breaking the fourth wall. All I can say is Deadpool can never. I like how sinet up nila yung element ng breaking the fourth wall sa first season, only to break all of its rules sa second season, na utilize nila yung element na yun sobra sa story. Like, you went on this journey of getting to know her character sa first season to the point na she feels like a friend to you, kasi every time she breaks the fourth wall, that's her talking to the audience. It's this type of communication that only the two of you know, only Fleabag in the audience. Hindi yun alam ng mga characters sa story niya, sa world niya, gano'n. Kaya it becomes this special and impactful once na may dumating sa life niya who could notice that, which is yung hot priest. The priest sees her fully and is fully present in her life, kaya it gave us that very iconic and shocking scene. And yung ending din, of course, napaka-memorable, and honestly, ang dami pa nilang ibang memorable scenes na talaga nakakatuwa. This show is so cool and clever. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a genius. Next one naman is Hacks. So about siya sa isang legendary comedian sa Las Vegas na si Deborah Vance, at ang pagme-mentor niya kay Ava, isang 25-year-old outcast na dating TV writer, kaso na-cancel siya sa internet, so nawalan siya ng trabaho, and then she ended up working for Deborah. So, isa rin to sa mga na-nominate sa Emmys last year alongside Barry, kaya ayun, I also ended up watching it. I think I've mentioned this in one of my old videos na at first hindi ko siya masyadong bet kasi hindi ko bet yung humor. Parang the humor was not for me. Hindi siya bumibenta sa akin, but the show slowly grew on me. I think it's because of Deborah and Ava's progress with their relationship and their career. Ayun, so I ended up warming up to the show, and I grew attached sa story and sa characters. It's really performed well, the characters are all charming, and it's really an entertaining show. And then the next favorite of mine is called Normal People. Ito naman, I've been seeing screen caps and quotes from this show a lot since the pandemic, pero I've always ignored it. Pero yun nga, one time I decided to watch it kasi I've noticed na yung dalawang bida dito, si Paul Mescal and si Daisy Edgar Jones, unti-unti silang sumisikat, gumaganda ang kanilang career. So, I decided to parang give it a go. I decided to watch the show that gave them the big break. So, ayun, I kind of knew already na I wouldn't be disappointed with this since ang dami nang pumupuri sa show na to and, I'm kind of late on it na. Pero ayun, despite its being a limited series, a mini-series, buong-buo naman yung story and emotions niya. Grabe. Ewan ko ba? For me, I'm perfect ng storytelling. So, just like the title, it's just so normal, which I thought at first was boring, but actually, what I didn't realize is the most beautiful thing can be found in the most normal and simplest things pala in life. Sobrang emotional lang ng show and it's so humane. It's about these two people's journey of growing up and navigating life and as well as journey ng kanilang love for each other. Dito ka talaga mapapasabi ng sana all. All I can think about is how lucky Marian and Connell are for finding each other. They are literally soulmates. Because of this, I craved for more slice of life series na kasi I would love to just sit and watch and feel things. This is a good watch if you just, want to feel things kasi this show will definitely make you feel a lot of things. So, the next show is Succession. This show is about the Roy family. Sila ay may-ari ng isang media conglomerate at yung founder nito ay si Logan Roy. So, gurang na siya. So, everyone's expecting him to retire and ipamana na yung company niya sa isa sa mga anak niya. So, yung mga anak niya naman, ayun, they're all competing for the crown. Ayun, parang drag race lang. Ayun, itong show na to for the Hakot Awards to lagi sa Emmy. So, if that's not enough reason for you to watch this, then ewan ko na lang. This is one of those shows na iisipin mo na parang puro about corporate stuffs lang. And, it's actually kinda like that. Yeah, but wala sa vocabulary ng show na to ang salitang boring. The writers are so good. I never thought na I would be shaking in my boots while listening to the characters having a meeting in a single room about business strategies and all that. Like, how the fuck do they even do that? Parang I couldn't give a shit about any of those things in real life, pero somehow with this show, parang it always feels like the stakes are so high. So, something about the writing, directing, and the performance talaga, they pull it off so well. Damang-dama mo yung intensity ng mga pangyayari. It's also filled with family drama and it's what makes this show spicy. Yung pang-terrorize ni Logan Roy sa mga anak niya, it never gets old. So, next naman is The End of the Fucking World. Ito naman ay tungkol sa dalawang high schoolers who made a connection sa isa't isa and they went on a road trip in search of their girl's real father. So, ayun, medyo late na rin ako with this one. I think ni-release to before the pandemic pa. But I'm glad I caught up on this because I enjoyed the entire ride with this. It's dark, it's thrilling, it's fun, it's engaging, ang ganda. I think yung pinaka nagustuhan ko rito is yung progress ng relationship ng dalawang character. And I think sobrang perfect na ng ending ng season 1 and they could have just ended it there. But I'm not mad about season 2, honestly. I mean, I think mas perfect yung season 1, but anything to see more of James and Alyssa, I'll take it. Ayun. Bet ko rin dito yung tone and yung mga songs ang ginamit nila. Such a good and enjoyable watch overall. So, the next one is The Good Place. It's a sitcom set in the afterlife. So, ayun. In here, meron silang tinatawag na The Good Place, which is kind of like the equivalent of heaven. And then, yung equivalent naman ng hell is The Bad Place. Ayun, yung bida sa Eleanor, she recently passed away and napunta siya sa The Good Place where everything is nice. Too nice, actually, to the point na it feels like something is wrong. It turns out na namali pala sila ng tao na napunta sa The Good Place. So they mistook her for someone else. And of course, ayaw na ni Eleanor na mabuking in order to avoid going to the bad place. Kaya she thought na pagsisikapan niya na lang maging mabuting tao to earn her place there. Ayun, since this show is kind of a fantasy and tinatakal nila technically is yung afterlife, they could get a little bit philosophical at times. Lagi dinidiscuss dito yung human ethics. Like, paano nga ba maging isang mabuting tao enough for us to go to heaven or the good place? Ano nga ba yung meron sa afterlife? And they kinda explored on that. Of course, none of it can be proven true, pero just watching the show and getting insights sa own interpretation nila of the afterlife and life itself was very nice. This became my comfort show at some point. I grew really fond of the characters, especially si Janet. Not a girl, not a robot. She's super funny and na I like her journey of learning how to be a human being. So parang you kinda also learn from her. And I also think one of the things that really sealed it for me as one of my favorites is yung finale ng season 1. They gave us the biggest plot twist ever. I'm so glad na hindi ako na-spoil doon and I got to discover that in real time kaya super na-shock ako. If you know, you know. And finally, we're on to the last show on my list, which is HBO's The Last of Us. It's based on this popular video game originally released in 2013. So it's set in a post-apocalyptic world 20 years in a global pandemic. So nagkaroon ng fungal outbreak 20 years ago, which causes people to somewhat become similar sa mga zombies. Pero that's not what they're called dito sa show na to. They refer to these creatures as the infecteds. And isa sa mga main characters, his name is Joel, isa siyang smuggler. And na-assign siya to smuggle a 14-year-old girl named Ellie who might be the key in finding a cure. Kasi itong si Ellie, she is immune dun sa infection. So they wanted to test her and see if they could make a cure out of her and hopefully ending the infection, the pandemic. So ayun, basically she's the key in saving the world. So they go on this journey together and syempre along the way may mga infected and may mga bad guys in general na they have to fight in order to survive and stuff like that. So ayun, honestly I've never played the game, so I had no clue on what the story is about. Pero I randomly decided to give it a go kasi when it first came out, I had a feeling na this show would be big. So ayun, basically gusto ko lang bandwagon. Yun yung pinaka simplest terms. But I think that's the best decision I've ever made. Kasi right now, I'm really obsessed with this show. I may be hyper fixated on it a bit too much, and not only am I obsessed with the show, I think I also caught feelings for Pedro Pascal. I am currently in love with that man and I'm about to go insane. First episode pa lang nito, I was blown away already. Grabe yung thrill and I just couldn't get enough of it. Tumatak sa akin ng sobra yung performance ni Pedro Pascal during that scene when his character lost Sarah. Ang ganda, ang galing. I can't. And then episode 3 came out and I just think that's the time when I just really fell in love with the show. Yun yung turning point ko with the show, honestly. Tapos along the way, Bella Ramsey kept on giving these amazing performances. Mas nag-focus yung show sa mga human connections and point of view ng mga tao on how they go about this broken world. So I think, to me, that is beautiful. And ayun nga, sobrang nagustuhan ko yung show na to the point na I already know the story sa part 2 ng game kasi I watched a playthrough sa YouTube. I watched it through PewDiePie. So yeah, and I couldn't wait to see more of it. So ayun, I know na the fans of the games are also amazed sa show na to. They liked how it was adapted. So I guess that tells a lot about how they adapted the show really well. So yeah, that is the last of us. Charot. That is the last show on my list, and I highly recommend all of them. If hindi nyo to pinanood, lagot kayo sa akin. Char! Pero ayun, that's it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.